Hello, welcome to A Cup of Grace and Lori, Ep.5. My name is Grace,
And I'm Lori.
and in our chat today, Lori is going to be talking about her weight loss journey. So, Lori, let's get started.
Okay. First of all, I wanted to open with I've talked in previous episodes about Abraham and the law of attraction. And this arrived in my email 2 days ago. It was an Abraham quote. And it said, cravings are going to occur to you. So here's the rule of thumb about eating or investing in the stock market or anything else. If the impulse comes from a joyous thought that feels good, follow it. If the impulse comes from an uncomfortable thought that felt bad, don't follow it. So I love this. I love
Mm-hmm.
this quote. And again, this is to do with eating or anything that any decision, I guess, that you're about to make. Is it coming from a joyous thought that feels good, or is it coming from an uncomfortable thought that feels bad?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought
Where
I
did you
would.
find that?
I get these emails from Abraham. I signed up for them,
Oh, okay.
and
For their
I'll
newsletter?
forward you. I'll forward you those emails, Grace, because I know you like those. So I thought
Yes,
I
I
would
do.
open with that. It had so much insight for me. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that that that
Was
statement.
it like kind of an aha moment when you
Yeah, it
when you
was an
heard
aha
read that?
moment for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
although I do tend to eat from a good, I don't. What do they call that other type of eating?
Emotional eater.
Yeah, I don't think I'm an emotional eater,
I'm
but
totally an emotional
oh,
eater.
okay. Anyway, over the past year, I've mentioned this again in a couple of episodes. I've been on the keto diet and I've lost over 40 pounds. It's probably closer to 45 at this point. It
Wow.
was over a year, so I didn't drop the weight in 3 months like it's been, about actually when I started, it was about 4 pounds a month. So it wasn't like a rapid weight loss, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's good.
in any case, I did for me, and this again, I want to emphasize keto worked for me. Keto maybe won't work for you, maybe some other food regimen will work for you. I don't like the word diet because we all
Hmm.
have so many negative connotations with that word, but maybe another type of eating regime will work for you, and that's great. Maybe carbs works for you, and that's great. For me, keto worked for me. They were foods that I eat normally, so it wasn't like a dramatic change for me.
What is
So I don't
keto?
really want to emphasize the keto aspect during this discussion. As I said, it
Oh,
worked for
okay.
me.
Okay. So
We're all different, and what works for me may not work for you.
because
Um,
I don't know really what keto is.
well, in a nutshell, it's placing a lot more emphasis on protein and vegetables. And the protein would be like chicken, beef, seafood, eggs, cheese, and then lots of vegetables,
Hmm.
a little bit of fruit, not a
Hmm.
ton of fruit, and I believe it's only 15% of your calories are supposed to come from carbs. So it's low carb, high protein, and a fair amount of vegetables.
Hmm.
So as I said, I
Okay.
eat that way anyway. I
Yeah.
don't eat a lot of bread, or I used to about 20 years ago when the diets and foods were different then. The Canada Food Guide used to say, oh, eat 5 to 6 helpings of grains and bread every day. That was like 20 years ago. It doesn't say that now. But anyway, now I don't, and I didn't eat that way before I went on keto. So I just wanted to clarify that. In 2020, before I started keto, when we were all, in the first year of the pandemic, and
Hmm.
I guess a lot of us were exploring, maybe reading different things or taking online courses. There were a lot of courses that were free online. And I was at that time doing a lot of reading. And I did read some self-help books and some business books as well. Books by or about successful people, very successful people. And one of them was, oh gee, I can't remember the name now. Of course, now I can't remember it. Something to do with Titans. I'll get the book title.
Tim Ferriss.
Yes, Titans, something.
He wrote a book.
Yeah, and
with
he interviews a lot of very successful people. And
Yes,
this
it's
book was
Tim
a
Ferriss.
compilation of their tips. So
Yeah.
and it wasn't just about business, it was about life, and it was about fitness and, you know, eating as well. So I do recommend the book. If that was one book I read, I did read other books about improving your relationship with money. And one that I loved was Get Rich Lucky Bitch. Yeah, catchy title. Excellent book. I highly recommend it.
It's on my reading list.
Yeah. So I was talking to my cousin the other day about our podcast, and she said, you know, she thought that personal healing often precedes weight loss. And I had to agree with her there. Not always, not always. Sometimes weight loss is just a matter of, oh, I just need to exercise more and then you lose weight. But for me, I struggled for the last 10 years. I've been trying to lose weight, and I'm at that age where hormones are in flux. So I thought, okay, it's my hormones that are way out of balance, which I know they were. But I tried I tried hard to lose weight, and it just wouldn't come off.
Did you seek professional help?
I did. I went to a naturopath. I think I remember telling you about that. Yeah, I did see a naturopath for about a year.
So specifically about your weight.
That was what I went there for. But then, of course, as we were working through things, there were some issues that I was, repressing or not dealing with, or that needed healing.
Yes.
And these issues seemed to keep the weight on, because I couldn't figure out, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to, what would happen is I would try and eat less, and then I wouldn't sleep at night. I'd be up all night, or I'd sleep for a couple hours. So then I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And I cannot function on a lack of sleep. I cannot. That is my, I need my sleep more than other people probably. But so it would be I would try and eat less, and then I'd be awake and be really tired the next day. So I'm like, okay, I have to eat more to sleep, whatever. So I could not get the weight up. And, some people give you helpful advice. Oh, well, just eat, you should just exercise more. Yeah. Exercise more and eat more vegetables. I'm like, it's not working. I know this. I'm, and you kind of feel stupid in one sense, because it's wait a minute, I know that, but I try that and it doesn't work. I can't sleep at night, right? So I need this extra whatever. Well, I think what was happening is the issues that I had, I was keeping the weight on subconsciously, because I think that a lot of people keep the weight on as a protection.
Absolutely.
Other people. Or maybe it's oh, okay, well, if I have this extra weight on, I don't have to go out and socialize or meet new people. It's a reason that you could say, well, no, I can't go out because I'm, I don't look good, or I don't have the energy, or, it's a built-in use, right?
Interesting.
And if you've had experiences in the past where maybe you've been burnt a bit or hurt or whatever, what I really think it is boundaries. not setting appropriate
Oh.
boundaries. Yeah, so that you're coming out of situations or experiences with the short end of the stick because you didn't
Mhm.
clarify, okay, here's what I need, and this is whatever. So I had a few of those experiences, and I was carrying around a lot of resentment and anger. And this resentment and anger that I was holding on to was keeping the weight on.
Mhm.
It was keeping the weight on.
When did
So
you come to this revelation?
mm, in the last 6 months, because
And you
I
Mhm.
realized, oh my gosh, I'm not angry anymore. I'm not
Oh,
angry
okay.
anymore. And I realized that I was kind of angry before, but you only know that until you get to this point and you're able to look back and say, wow, oh, I was angry. And things were
Mm.
setting my anger off, I mean, that tenant that we lived with, whatever.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, that anger I've let go of it. I've let go of it. My God, I held on to it for a while. I was angry about that job. I won't mention the company, but the job that I had after I finished school, after finishing university,
Yeah.
where it was just a very dysfunctional organization. And then I was angry that I had to sell my condo, because I'd always wanted to have my own real piece of real estate. Um,
Mhm.
so the, there was layers of anger that was accumulating or had accumulated. And anyway, I finally seemed to have let that go. Only took me 10 years, guys. Um,
Some people hold on to anger for
yeah,
their entire lives.
yeah. So that was really interesting.
It is
But,
interesting.
but as I said, I didn't realize it until I got to this stage here where I'm like, oh, okay, things aren't bothering me that much. Like, if something doesn't go my way, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, I'll adopt or I'll do plan B or, it just isn't, things aren't bothering me half as much as they used to.
Well, that could be also
About
like the
that.
culmination, because you had already been like starting in 2020, you were immersing yourself in all the self-help,
Mhm,
self-improvement books.
mhm.
So you were already, yeah, you were internally working on yourself.
Yes,
So throughout time, I guess, yeah, your mindset started shifting.
yes,
And at the same time, you started to lose the excess weight physically.
it seemed to be, as my cousin said, the personal healing precedes the weight loss. And that's
That,
actually what my naturopath told me as well. She said,
mhm.
it starts here, and then the last thing to change is the outward physical. That's the end result. So
I think that potentially you working on yourself, like the inside, what's going
mhm,
on inside, that
yeah,
is more, I think there's more assurance there that you will keep the weight off. Because like you said, with diets, they tend to be fatty, like
mhm,
FADDY.
yeah, yeah,
And a lot of people, they can lose weight,
yeah,
but then they put it
put
back
it back
on. And
on.
it might be because, yeah, they're not working on the root,
Right.
the cause of
Yeah.
why, they're putting on weight.
Now, again,
Using food, yeah.
I mean, I don't I don't want to speak for everybody. Like I think some people and I think even me, like there's probably been times where it's just a matter of, oh, okay, I'm eating more of this kind of food, so I put on 5 pounds or whatever, right? I don't think I don't want to say, oh, everybody is like me and they were holding on to resentment or anger, and that's why they have some excess weight. I don't think that's true for everybody. It could be just, oh, I stopped exercising, or because I have a new job and I can't go to the gym as much or whatever, and they put on a few pounds or, you know
Well,
what I
but
mean?
that there's a difference between putting on a few pounds,
Yeah, okay, okay,
right? Right.
right,
'Cause that, like
okay,
we often,
true.
most of us, we fluctuate in weight. There's a
Yeah.
difference though between just putting on a few
Okay.
pounds,
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's true.
because
Yeah.
we do use food as a comfort. And yeah, there are medical
Yeah.
issues, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
internal. What's happening is
I,
internal, I
I
think.
just want to say, yeah,
Psychological.
exactly. And there's medical issues as well, for sure. Like
Exactly.
if you maybe you're taking some type of medication that, and you put on 10 pounds as a result of it. So again,
Yeah, and other
I'm
reasons. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
There's various reasons,
yeah.
and I'm just saying for me, this was my reason. And you're right, this was a lot of weight for me to lose. So
Good for
um
you.
yeah,
Yeah, because the last time you and I saw each other was the summer of last year, right?
it
And yeah,
was in
you look
August.
different.
I had lost, yeah, I think I'd lost about maybe 20 pounds at that point, 20,
Wow.
24
Oh,
pounds or something. Yeah.
okay.
So
So even between that time and now, you've lost more weight.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And this is, I think I read this somewhere, or yeah, I must have. Life is supposed to be fun. I'm pretty sure it was from Abraham that said this. Life is supposed to be fun. Yeah, this sounds like
Mm-hmm.
Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we really believe that? Like, I'm like, yeah, that it should be fun, right? Shouldn't
I
life?
think so, but I
Yeah,
oftentimes reality doesn't seem to reflect that.
yeah. But I'm like, I think it is supposed to be fun, and I want to
Yeah.
really believe that. I want to really incorporate that belief, and not just say it, but really feel that, yeah, life is supposed to be fun. Anyway, what I found is when you lose weight, life becomes more fun and easier. When
Easier
I was
how?
heavier, and I didn't have
Okay.
much energy, like,
Mm.
and here I am, choosing a blogging career where I'm like, Lori, why would you choose to be a blogger in an industry where the emphasis is on your appearance, right?
Well, it depends on what kind of blogger you are, but yeah,
Well,
you're the type of blogger who attends events.
I
But there
attend
are other
events.
bloggers who just write.
Yeah. So, I'm a lifestyle blogger, so it's
Mhm.
very image conscious. And I didn't
Is it? Okay.
start blogging until I was already heavier. It wasn't like I was thin when I started and then I gained the weight. I was already heavier, and then I decided, oh, I want to be a blogger. What?
Yeah.
Why
Uh-huh.
would you decide that? Because
Well,
when I would go to my events, and Grace, you came with me to several
yes.
of my
Uh-huh.
events, but I would be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to wear? And, when you're heavier, things don't always think, not always, but I guess, or maybe the clothes I had, I didn't like the way they were looking on me. So I would get anxious about that. I would get anxious about, where am I going to park? Do I have to walk, you know,
Oh,
a
you
long
didn't, yeah,
way?
you didn't communicate those things to me.
Oh, I guess I didn't. Okay, but I would get anxious about all of that before going to an event. And
Oh,
I didn't feel comfortable in my body.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I just had that anxiety as well, like wondering how people were going to, relate to me, or whether they would accept me, etc. So that
Mhm.
is gone. And I'm like, oh my God, life's easier now, right? Life is easier and more fun for sure, because I have more energy, and I just feel much more positive about life. And I'm excited. I mean, I was excited before, but I'm really much happier now when I get up in the morning, right? Decide what's going to happen today, right?
And this is because, well, I guess in conjunction with all the self-improvement stuff that you've been
Yeah,
working on and
yeah,
the physical
yes,
transformation.
yeah, because I just feel better. I have more energy. I feel like,
Mhm.
I like the way I look better, you know.
Okay, so you're more
So
confident.
I'm more confident.
Your
Yeah. And
self-image is,
again,
yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, I do believe it starts here,
Yeah.
right? and then then the physical happens after. And then I don't think it's like, I think we have to change first inside, and then the physical will change.
Ideally, but usually we work from the outside in.
Yeah,
Right?
you're
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
right, whether
Because
that's
that seems to be easier. Working on
yeah,
us, like the inside, like that's hard because
yeah,
I mean, Lori, maybe you only had 10 years worth of resentment. A lot of us, we we have, beeps from childhood. A
well,
lot.
okay,
Do you know
well,
what I mean? Like a lot of
yeah,
people, there's a
yeah,
lot of anger,
yeah.
all of these, yeah, feelings that we're holding inside that
Mm-hmm.
needs healing. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So good for you.
Well,
Good for
thank you.
you.
Thank you.
That's not easy. That's not easy.
Yeah, well, it's funny, like this time the weight has come off and it hasn't really been a struggle.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's actually, it hasn't really been a struggle this time.
Yeah.
It just is coming off, you know.
It's not a matter of just willpower. No, this
No,
is,
not really. Although one thing I do is I try and go to bed at the same time every night. That's something I don't fool around with, because I find that that's like, I need to be rested every day.
mhm, mhm.
So yeah, I don't really compromise on my sleep. But other than that, yeah, it's been somewhat, it hasn't been difficult, let's put it that way. That's
Good.
really all I wanted to say about that. I'm curious to hear if anybody else, what their experience has been with weight loss,
Hmm.
whether they just focused on the actual, what you're eating and your fitness routine, or whether you have all, not you, but any of the viewers have, you know, focused on the inner transformation and then experienced weight loss. I'm very curious about that.
Because
Yeah.
you often don't hear stories like you shared today, where you're working on the inside and just healing what went on internally manifested externally,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You don't often hear those types of stories, but I think
Okay.
we need to hear those types of stories more, because I do think it's just so important for us to heal internally,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my naturopath kind of helped me see that,
Hmm.
yeah, there are things going on inside, and you're not going to be able to progress if you don't deal with them somehow. So, yeah, so that's really all I wanted to say about that. Please leave some comments in the
Under the video.
end of the video.
We
On
appreciate
another
your
note,
feedback and comments. Thank
yes.
you so much.
On another note, I just want to add, this came in the mail today. It's
Yeah.
the True North Echo laundry echo strips. So I haven't tried them yet.
Yeah, so
These
that's in reference to our previous episode 4, how to be more eco-friendly,
right. So these are
right?
what
Yeah.
the strips look like, and you just fold it, and it's perforated, so you tear it. So you would just use like half for
Hmm.
one load, and then if you have really dirty clothes, I guess you would use 2 of these. So yeah, I'm eager to try those, and I'll report back in an upcoming episode. Grace will be taking the lead on our next episode.
Oh, fun.
So
Okay,
have a
thank
great
you
week,
again.
everyone. Okay,
Bye.
bye.